things to get up that way.
They
had plenty of soldiers.
Yeah, but there's no account of anybody doing that in any of the in any of the published accounts. So,
is it possible nobody recorded it?
It would be very unlikely. I mean, there'd be an order about it somewhere. Now, what would be interesting, of course, is to look at earlier periods. I mean, I'm ashamed to say I'm not quite sure what happened during the 7 Years' War, some of the Revolution period, you know, because there were things going on around there. You know, when Baton Rouge was called New Richmond and had British troops in there.
Yeah, I've found musket balls that were made into fishing sinkers. Like somebody was stationed there, like maybe 2 or 3 of them in one hole. Like the guy had them in a little pouch or something. You know, where he made holes in them. And the river was like maybe what, a couple 100 yards away.
Right. Well, remember the British musket ball is bigger than the American one. The British musket ball is a 12 bore and the American is a 16.
Right.
Which is sort of interesting because that meant that if British soldiers captured U.S. ammunition, they could use it, but Americans couldn't use British ammunition.
Right.
And it might be one reason why U.S. Marines always took brown Bessers if they could. They like them. Also, of course, brown Bessers have quite a bit of brass furniture on them, which does a bit better to see than steel wire. Yeah.
Is there a reason why the British would bring money into the battle? Money. Bobby Evans, back in the 80s, I found a half-cent on the beach. There was a beach back there, a small beach, and I found a half-cent on top of the ground. That's where the British came in. And I'm saying, it's, you know, big half-cent.
British half-cent?
I said, probably from that battle. I said, why would they carry money in to a battle? It's weight. I'm sure if they had one, they had more money.
Well, I mean, yeah, they would have money, but how do you mean a half-cent? I mean, that's not a British coin. I mean, yeah, I mean, a British coin.
Well, I'm saying a half-cent, maybe one. It was 17. Got the date, 1795 or something.
Well, I would say it was from an earlier period.
Oh, you think it was this lost there?
Was it silver?
Yeah.
No, it was brass or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It was brass.
Yeah. I mean,
I figured it. I'm saying half-cent, but
well,
it's worn pretty. Barely see the date.
Well, I mean, the thing that you'll notice with British coins, they've always got the sovereign's head on one of the sides. So, you know, if it was the 1790s, well, yeah, 1790s, it should have George III's head on it.
I wish I'd have brought it. It's worn pretty bad. So.
But yeah,
But it's right where the British landed. You know, came in there. I figured it was.
Well, it could be, but you know, difficult to tell. I mean, if you know absolutely it's a British coin, then yeah, I would say definitely. Yeah.
You said there was one 32-pounder. Okay. In the Civil War, when Farragut ran the Chalmette Works, he sent troops back the next day to spike the cannons and throw the cannonballs in the river. And one of the cannons was a 32-pounder, and they threw the 32-pound balls in the river, among others. And some years ago, in the mid-'80s, the Corps of Engineers was dredging there by the Chalmette Works and dredged up a bunch of 32-pound balls, some of which had the fleur-de-lis mark on them. And I have one of the balls. I think Richard has one. And I wonder, you know, it's 45 years later, but I wonder if it by any chance could have been the same 32-pounder.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the gun technology hadn't moved on that much. I mean, basically, the only big thing was a friction primer. The rest of it was the same.
Another question.
Yeah.
Was there ever find out why the British didn't come through Lake Pontchartrain and attack from that side?
They couldn't. Well, they'd have had to row the whole way. a British man-of-war.
Shallow water.
Yeah, a British man-of-war draws 25 feet.
Because they had Pickles for fortification for the British if they came through there. They did. They went.
Yeah, yeah. No,
but they had to fight, go through the swamp and everything. That wasn't easy.
Yeah. Well, of course, the other thing is, this is another theory of mine. I'm convinced John Lafitte was playing both sides. Because how the heck do the British turn up on the Villeray plantation? Because they are told, they turn up and all of a sudden these fishermen come along, these Isleños fishermen, and say, oh, come this way. Look at this bayou. Andrew Jackson didn't have the way through the bayou. That's why he told all of the planters to dam their bayous, dam their canals, so that nobody could get in. He couldn't get a map of that area. And what happens? The Isleños show the British exactly the way in, and the canal they come down hasn't been dammed. In fact, one thing that you won't hear too many places around New Orleans is that when Gabriel Villeray turned up and said, "Oh, the British are here," Jackson said, "Yes, I know," and had him thrown in jail for not damming the canal. Because one of Jackson's own engineer officers had been riding down near the Delaronde plantation and had seen the British, and the news had actually got back before Gabriel Villeray got there. And Jackson was mad as hell. You don't hear that too much. Cool.
I didn't know that. That's great.
But there's a surprising amount of stuff still down there at Chalmette. And I was amazed. Just after Katrina, Bill Hyland took me down and went into Judge Buckley's house, Pecan Grove, and I didn't realize there was a house like this. This is from 1800, and this house, although it's been moved, was actually the overseer's house at the Jumonville plantation. This was a British hospital at the time of the battle. And the funny thing is, of course, that after Katrina, there's all this, everything is trashed all over the place. And we go into that house, and yes, there's the marks on the walls, but it's real plaster. Somebody just cleaned that off. All the floorboards were coming up, and the nails had popped. But it's all real cypress, and now it's all dried out. It's all gone back down again. He saved all the nails. All the nails have gone back. It's made, beautifully made of local materials, and it survives. It's a wonderful house, absolutely wonderful. There's just so much around.
Why don't you tell us a bit about?
Oh yeah, I brought a few things along here. Not too much, but by all means come over and have a look. It's just a group of British items, War of 1812 period. Shako plate, 1812 pattern. This is 1812 to 1816. That was in use. This gorget here, this thing. It's vestigial armor. It's worn right there, and it just shows that you're on duty. They weren't much worn in action. It's this is a universal 1812 pattern. It's got a crown and a GR enclosed by a laurel wreath engraved on a gilt bronze plate. They were continued until about the 1830s. And I mean, this is the sort of thing that you would have seen at the Battle of New Orleans. This you would not have seen at the Battle of New Orleans, but it is of the period. It's an 1812 pattern heavy cavalry officer's belt buckle. And as you see, it's just pinned on, gilt bronze, again with silver cast and then chased GR inside laurel wreath with a crown above it.